Here's Brian and Lance.
All right. We're from 304 Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Oh, this is STSpod.club production. That's right. I'm BT. And that guy over there, he's always moving it to the left, always moving it to the right, and he's doing the hokey pokey all about. That's right. He's from Chicago, the home of the world's best Eppin pizza in the world. The world's best Eppin pizza in the world.
In the world, yep.
That's right. He's a snark of excellence. He's my partner in crime. He's my friend. He's your friend and mine. He is Lance Levine. How the hell are you, Lance?
The intro just keeps getting longer and better, just like me, actually. That's a coincidence. So I am here. I am known as a wayward son, apparently. I don't know what that is, but I'm here in the Frito-Lay sweet and salty dipped clusters studio. They're the
Good God, I like
Christmas Frito-Lay
dip.
sweet and salty dipped cluster studio. That's right. So Frito-Lay has a Christmas item this year, and it's delicious. So
oh wow!
They sponsored our studio. So
awesome.
Maybe Santa will bring you one.
You never know. I'm excited.
If you're on the nice list and not the naughty list.
Nah, whatever.
That might be a
fuck
challenge.
Santa Claus. By the way, let's just talk about Santa Claus real quick. Every year, No Kid Goes Hungry. We help with a charity where we take the proceeds of T-shirts. And this year we have kind of a comedy T-shirt. It is my friend Mike who actually bought this for us.
The Mr. Allen hat.
He is sitting on Santa Claus's lap for a T-shirt, and that's Santa Claus, Lance. I don't know if you know that, but that's me.
The hat. There it is.
The hat, yeah. Yep. That's me. So if you buy one of those shirts, all proceeds, we're trying to help some people. There's all kinds of stats. Kids go to, what they do is they also do lunches for the kids so that they can take them home from school. Sometimes that one meal, and I don't want to get preachy here, but that one meal that they have at school is the only thing they have to eat, which, I've never been that way. I've never had that happen to me. My kids have never been, but there are people out there like that, and Lance and I get together every year, and if you buy a T-shirt, we're giving the money right to them. So, guys, go ahead and take a look at it's on my page. It's on the STS Pod Facebook page. Buy a T-shirt. And let me do a quick little business real quick. 28% over last year's November. Very good, very good. 36% total over the year. And we are averaging 48%. And we slowed down on the episodes. I told you I'd do 2 episodes a week. We go back to the old standard. But we're 48% more per episode this year. So it's crazy. It's really crazy. In the top 3 episodes, AEW Dynamite was number 3. That's episode 655. Episode number 2 was 654 with John Mellencamp. That's right, the record store. And the number 1, this will surprise you.
Shocking.
650 WTF. I think we won every month but one this year. The Patreon sample. Yeah. The Patreon sample episode got lots of downloads and listens, but I think it had a lot to do. It had 2 segments with Memphis Wrestling, one with me and you, so I didn't count it, but thanks, guys, for listening to that. That is called, I mess up that charity every time. It's called No Kid Hungry. So there you go. Look them up. They are legit.
You're hungry. You're hungry.
No. I've already had my food.
You had supper?
So,
Did you have supper?
Yeah. I've already had supper.
Oh, wait, breakfast. We're recording this in the morning. It's breakfast.
Oh, yeah. Man, what are you talking about? I ate breakfast. I had pancakes and waffles. And sausage.
And gravy.
Yeah.
Gravy and grits and shit.
This is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. God.
I get so confused.
You're waiting on Dynamite tonight.
On my Japanese time or something. I don't know.
That's it. Shout out to Tony Myers. So
I
episode.
thought you were going to say Tony Storm because I'm told she's attractive.
She is pretty.
Sources have told me she's pretty.
This is episode 133 of Cool Kids Countdown and episode 659. 659, baby. Woo! No, that's nothing.
Wrong number.
For STS Pod, we're doing rolling into
Southern math again.
We're doing rolling into Memphis this Saturday. Lance, you had a very special episode of the record store that we did not even plan to do. Tell them about it, and I want everybody to go listen to it. So
sadly, did not plan to do, but it was a week ago now, the passing of Christine McVie, and everybody knows that is my band. Fleetwood Mac has been my band for basically my entire life, and just the day she passed, I was like, I was in a mess. I was in a rut, and I just had to turn on the microphone and just get my thoughts out. And thankfully, I didn't even know if it was going to be anything good enough for Brian to even want to put out. But I had to say something, and so I ended up doing about 25, 30 minutes just talking about Fleetwood Mac, meaning to me, Christine McVie's career and so on. And just it meant a lot to me to get it out. I appreciate you putting it out. So thank you for the people who've written to us and said really nice things about that episode. It meant a lot to me to get it done. So I appreciate it. And if you haven't listened to it yet, if you're a fan of rock music, listen to it because hopefully it comes through how much that the music means to me in general.
It reminded me of the Lance Russell episode we did, but I couldn't do it that day. I couldn't do it for like 2 or 3 days. I was with Scott Bowden. I was interviewed with him, and he couldn't. Neither one of us could do it. So as soon as you done it, I put it out as commercial free. The funny thing is that episode is also going to be remembered for something really weird. But it was episode 658. And it came out before episode 657. That's the first time that's ever happened. And the reason why is I had already produced 657. We were just waiting to drop it that coming Saturday. Everything was done, all the copy and pasting and everything. Yeah. So I just put it out, and I said, I could switch up the numbers and blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, might as well make this a first on that too. So it's just one of those little trivia things. And every once in a while we have trivia. We're going to have trivia contests down now. Tell everybody what the hell we're doing this month.
We are doing, I told you after I put together the list this time, this is the WTF News Desk 5, as you know, where we cover the top 10 ridiculous stories in the world of pro wrestling and MMA. But I told you as before that this is like an all-star edition because some of our names that we've been covering for years.
From the past, yes.
Some of the all-stars of WTF News for 3-4 years now that we've been doing this are making an appearance this month. So this was a really fun month to put together. So we're going to start at number 10, where we always start with the stipulation match of the month. It comes to us from, I'll give you one guess, Brian.
DDT.
It's the DOH Grand Prix. That's how it's spelled. It looks like DOH. So it's the DOH Grand Prix 2022 in Yokohama, day 1. It happened November 3rd. It was the blindfold breastfold tag death match. I don't know what breastfold is supposed to mean. It sounds like maybe a type of wallet.
My titties are big, but I don't think I can fold them.
I wasn't going to go there. I thought it was a wallet or something, a breastfold.
No, I can't do it. I tried.
Anyway, so the blindfold breastfold tag death match. We have Antonio Honda, who we've mentioned a bunch of times here, and teaming with Shunma Katsumata, defeating Harashima, because it's all in caps, so you got to say it that way. Harashima and Kazuki Harada. So the deal with this was all 4 men were blindfolded, and all 4 men were wearing bras. It sounds like another night at the Trammell House.
Woo!
So all 4 men were wearing bras, so the object of the match was to either win by pinfall or removing a bra.
Yeah, baby.
I knew you were going to like this. So Katsumata snags Harashima's bra to win the match. So that's how the match ended. One of the bras came off. Also, November 12th, we got Takeshita's old lady, Keiko. Remember last month we had her. She simply forfeits the Iron Man
That's
heavy
not
metal
his old
weight.
lady. There's a difference between old lady and mother. Old lady is your wife. You don't know.
No, old lady is his mother.
Yeah, no, you're wrong.
No,
Mama.
M-A-M-A.
Old lady is your wife.
Old lady could be interpreted both. I have heard it both ways. I'm not going to disagree with you, but I've heard both. Old lady meaning both. So anyway, Takeshita or Takeshita or whatever his name is, his mother Keiko simply forfeits the Iron Man. He's got that dot on his nose. I don't know. It's a raisin or something. Iron Man heavy metal weight title.
Remember what I said before we started this about you being judgmental?
Judgmental, yeah. And I said,
go get a mirror, Lance. God, you picked the worst little things about somebody. Jeez.
Anyway, so Takeshita's old lady or his mother, either way, she simply forfeits the Iron Man heavy metal weight title that she won when this Katsumata, the guy who was in the previous match, bribes her with 551 pork buns. So I say there's a scandal brewing here because he gave her 551 pork buns and she just simply turned over the title to him. So there needs to be an investigation. President Jack Tunney needs to get involved.
I do like pork buns, by the way.
Yeah, pork buns are good. So lastly, on December 29th, we have to make mention of this. DDT is promising something called the anal explosion. So I think that the PG-3 radio guys are going to want to be listening for that one. So the anal explosion is coming on December 29th from DDT. So I think we already have next month ready to go.
All right. Anal explosion. That sounds like about what happened at my house last night. So
yeah, the Taco Bell hit.
All right. So, as always, I love the DDT stuff. Something really strange. I'm going to say something, but that was really not odd compared to some of the others. You got to get on a train and ride it to Smith Street and jump off and play ping pong. And just taking off the bras,
ripping a bra off a dude is weird. I'm sorry.
No, it happens.
On Sunday night at your house, but whatever. So
I know a dude that you'd love to take his bra off.
Yeah, you do. All right, at number nine. Let's leave her out of this. So at number 9, not Nyla Rose. So anyway, I've lost my composure. All right, at number 9, we have our crime blotter, our monthly crime blotter. So we've got Grover, we got Kyle Rasmussen, and we've got a hit at a lucha show. So Grover is the guy that we've talked about before, G. Raver. So we've mentioned this guy before.
Right,
G.
we
Raver,
have, yes.
A.K.A. Brandon Graver. He's a deathmatch guy of some knowing, he's some repute. So
he's the one that did the Corny, Corny one time. Corny sued him or sent a letter of cease and desist. Yeah.
Yep. So on November 18th, police in Huntingdon County, Pennsylvania, find Grover and Barry Leach slumped over in their car. So Grover admits to snorting 10 bags of heroin. Now, I don't know anything about drugs. I've never done drugs. But I'm thinking 10 fucking bags of heroin is going to kill a horse. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I've never dealt with heroin, but that really sounds like horse shit. Let me just say that's horse shit.
Speaking of horses. So police investigate the car. They also find meth, marijuana, mushrooms, more heroin. And
there's other drugs in there?
Believe it or not.
God,
yes, believe it or not, there's other stuff, mushrooms. I don't know if he was making a pizza or whatever. And other stuff, and also $181 cash. So multiple charges are filed against Grover, including, quote, failure to keep right. So I'm like thinking, is that like driving on the right side of the road? Or like just keeping right in terms of like ethics? Like that boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right. They're going to have to talk with that boy.
So that is, as you mentioned, that is the guy who battled with Jim Cornette in court. They settled over the T-shirt sales. They settled out of court to an unknown sum. So it was Grover was putting out a shirt with Cornette's image on it, I think, and Cornette got pissed. Then we go to Kyle Rasmussen, 41. He was formerly known as Conrad Tanner, not Tanner from what was it, Full House, like Danny the Tanners, So Kyle Rasmussen was known as Conrad Tanner. He was a WWE trainee in 2009. He's arrested for trying to strangle a driver of a moving pickup truck that he's in. Like, who does this? Who fucking tries to strangle the driver of the car and you're in the car? Like,
what an idiot.
How is this going to end? So at 2:21 a.m. in Rochester Hills, Michigan, Kyle's in the back seat. Another guy's driving. Kyle reaches around the seat, strangled the driver. So this is the sad part. Kyle's girlfriend, Sarah, runs out of the car because apparently she's in the front seat too. She runs out of the car, is hit and killed by an SUV. The driver, the guy, which tragic, obviously, condolences to her. Driver gets out of the car, runs away on foot, and gets away. So just a really ugly story. But Kyle Rasmussen, what the fuck are you thinking? Trying to strangle the guy who's driving the car that you're in? You're a passenger in, you dumbass.
It's horrible.
So just ugly story. So finally, the hitman in Mexico. So at a lucha show in Monterrey, Mexico, a hitman shoots an unnamed mask collecting fan on November 6th after a K-A-O-Z lucha show in Monterrey. Police believe the fan was targeting this guy. So apparently, the guy is leaving the arena. He's a famous fan in Monterrey that collects masks.
He's a huge mask collector. Right. He's always got a ton of masks. Yeah.
He's leaving, and apparently the hitman is in a van, and he gets signaled, hey, he just left. So the hitman drives up to him, gets out of the van, gets out, and shoots the guy, and escapes. And he gets away. He's still on the loose. So no motive is announced. I guess he didn't take the mask or anything, but the guy's shot. He's okay. All I got to say is be careful if you're bringing your belt to the arenas, as we always say. Be careful because you might be next. So be careful.
I'm so surprised there hasn't been anything like that. As expensive as those belts are, that's what gets me. That they're real expensive. The belts are. But this mask thing, it's one of those that we talk about the Japanese culture, but this is when it comes to Mexican wrestling and lucha libre, the mask thing is a big deal. And I was even talking to Penta was wrestling, and me and the wife were watching the trios match from last week, last Wednesday, and I told her, I said, hey, what they'll do is they'll go, like, Penta will buy multiple masks, okay, so like 20 of the same mask. He'll wrestle on Dynamite, sign the mask, and sell it, and say, I wrestled in this. They do that, and it's just crazy. The collectors will spend anywhere from $300 to $500. I've seen Phoenix, or is it Phoenix? Phoenix, yeah. I saw him sell one at Glory Pro for $350 a mask that he wrestled
Glory
in.
Hole? What did you say?
Glory Pro. No, Glory Pro, not Glory Hole. Yeah.
Not Glory Hole. Sorry.
Well, that might have been.
My bad.
All right.
So, all right,
we're up to number 8, baby.
Number 8.
Woo!
We've got the progressive liberal as a heel. So it is in Stickleyville, Virginia. Shout out to Ed Bogus on that because it's close. I know it's not West Virginia, but it's close. Same thing. So anyway, progressive liberal. It's in Stickleyville, Virginia. Now I'm saying it wrong. So this story actually makes CNN. It was sent in to us by a couple of contributors, so thank you guys for sending this in. This was a great story. Indie wrestler Daniel Harnsberger has taken on the persona of the progressive liberal.
He's done this for a long time.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a while. So he wears tights that say "Riding with Biden," which is pretty funny. He's got tights that also have pictures of Hillary Clinton, and Kamala Harris, or Kamala Harris. How do you say it? Kamala Harris?
Kamala? It is Kamala.
Kamala. Okay. So the thing is, the Appalachian counties.
The Uganda giant.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking of Uganda. So anyway, the Appalachian counties where this guy wrestles are hardcore Trump supporters. So this guy gets heat being the progressive liberal, and the fans just hate this guy. There have been knife attempts on this guy. They've tried setting him on fire. There have been fights in the crowd. The matches have to get cut short frequently because of the heat in the audience is just so intense that they're afraid. So the frequent opponent of the progressive liberal is a babyface that goes by White Trash Millionaire. So of course I can say that on the show. I can say white trash on the show, but you get suspended on Facebook if you type white trash. So you got to be careful. So
You've been in jail.
Multiple times for saying white trash, which MJF said on TV, for Christ's sake. So anyway, the progressive liberal is a heel at number 8.
And, in that CNN piece was my old buddy Bo James was in it. Bo has been on the show before and also wrestled in Power Pro. Super duper nice guy, but he had a lot to do with this character. The guy had the idea. Bo kind of threw this and that in with it, and Bo knows exactly the towns to go to and how to get the heat for this. It's really funny that CNN, this is all a work, guys, okay? But it's funny how CNN actually covered a story like this. I was just like, he's really not that it's a character. Come on,
Right.
come on, come on.
Right.
So it's CNN's that tells you something. You can work one of the major news channels around.
It just goes to show how hot the political climate is. That and like you said, they're going to towns where they know that this guy's.
Oh yeah, yeah, they know that. Yeah,
nuclear heat.
If you came, that would be one of those hills that works here in the South too. So there you go.
That was like when Sam Adonis, remember he was doing that pro-Trump thing in Mexico.
In Mexico,
so he got massive heat for that too. So it's sharp on their part for playing it.
Well, Dutch, this has happened years and years before. But Dutch, when he went to Puerto Rico the first time, he talked about how stupid Puerto Ricans were and how America was so smart. And he would say something in Spanish and then say, "Look, y'all can't even understand me because your language is stupid." And I mean, he would just he got all kinds of heat for it. He would carry the American flag, and later on he did the thing with Hagar. So, or is that Sammy Hagar? Hagar, is that Hagar or Hagar? I can't.
They were the team with Sammy Hagar. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, all right, here we go.
Number 7, Conor repents.
Apologize.
Yeah. So Conor McGregor making our top 10 this month again. Another repeat offender here. So in 2013, a fan posts to Conor simply, "One night, Ronda or Misha." Now I'm assuming that was sexual. I mean, I could be wrong. But
maybe it was one night is if he could beat the hell out of him. I don't know.
Yeah, fight Ronda
they're
or
fighters.
fight Misha.
They're all fighters.
But anyway, so fan asks Conor, "One night, Ronda or Misha?"
Misha.
The obvious answer is Misha. Yeah, of course. So Conor responds. This is the direct quote. Conor says, "One riding dick, one licking my toes."
Oh yeah, licking my toes.
Licking my toes. So that was Conor's response. So he later apologizes
need that as a
for this.
T-shirt.
Yeah, one licking my toes. So Conor later apologizes. He says he was just simply quoting a song, and he knows now after the fact that it was unacceptable. He has infinite respect, he says, for both Misha and Ronda. And Ronda didn't, or I don't think Ronda did respond, but Misha responded by saying she knew it was all a joke and it was just, she was kidding, so she had no problem with it. So once again, Misha Tate showing that she is infinitely cooler than Ronda Rousey.
I'm going to say something. There is a lot worse things said in the dressing rooms of UFC when these girls are around and licking the toes and everything.
Licking my toes.
If it wasn't Snowflake Nation now, Conor wouldn't have had to say a word about it. But, I think I'm going to get a T-shirt. We're going to come out with one with a 4-leaf clover on it.
One licking my toes.
Yeah, a 4-leaf clover, licking my toes.
Licking my toes. So,
all right, before you talk about this one, now it's Jericho unmasked at number 6. I want you to sit through this, folks. Hopefully we will not be banned because we use this. But I am going to force you to sit through at least a minute of this. So here we go.
I'm looking forward to it.
Don't you dare look back. Keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This moment is my destiny. She said, oh, shut up and dance with me. Well, clap your arms.
Okay, now he's a dude. It's a rock dude.
We were victims of the night. A physical, chemical, on the side. Dancing by the moon and the faded light. Oh, we were bound to be together. Bound to be together, yeah! She took my arm. I don't know how it happened. She took the floor and said, don't you dare look back. Keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, oh, shut up and dance with me. All right. Are you having a good time?
Oh my God, Chris Jericho, stop. Last month he was making people throw up because he was in a movie, and now he's making people throw up because he's singing. God, without filters.
Did you notice in the
He's
the
not
judges, the guy that
Yeah.
died that we talked about last month was one of the
that
judges.
was
Oh
before
my
he
God.
had filmed those in advance, and he was on that
These-
one. But yeah,
These
that
stories
was
come full circle.
God, that was horrible. Go
So
ahead.
Jericho Unmasked at number 6. So the November 16th episode of The Masked Singer, we had Snowstorm and Avocado won that week, and they knocked out the Dinosaur Bride, who was revealed to be wrestling legend and Fozzy frontman Chris Jericho. The Injustice. I don't know why you played that song thinking it was bad. He's got a good voice.
Horrible.
He's got a good voice. So it was pretty obvious that it was Jericho. Anybody who was a wrestling fan that saw any of those clips before the unmasking obviously knew it was him. So he's pissed at the studio audience for voting him out, but he says he had fun. I need to give the brief Chris Jericho resume here. Fozzy has 8 albums, and they've had 5 songs that have hit the Billboard Top 10. So I don't know. He has a legitimate musical resume, my friend. I don't care. I like
does,
Fozzy.
but he also has engineering going behind those albums, and if you say that was good singing, and you don't like the raps, you don't like the raps of Acclaim. Something's wrong with you, my friend. Something's wrong.
Do
with
not
you.
like the raps. Well,
you listen to the Goo Goo Dolls. So what? And Rush. So what the hell? What am I talking about?
So, Jericho Unmasked at number 6. We can agree to disagree. I like Fozzy. I like their music. It's not the most complicated, but
I love it. Yes,
it's no different or no better or no worse than, say, a Motley Crue or Poison or that kind of
I
music.
agree 100%, but that was a horrible performance. And Motley Crue and Poison have had some horrible performances live. So
big time.
yeah, very much so. I'm a fan of, and that reminds me of what of that Poison, of the Rat, all of that. That's it.
Cinderella.
Jericho was a huge fan of bands like that. So there's his musical. That's what he. And Kiss, he's a huge Kiss fan too. So Jericho, I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of yours, but that was horrible. And I think you deserved ECE beating the fuck out of your chest for just being on that show. So there you go.
Ouch.
All right, quick commercial break. If you're on Patreon, guess what? We don't do commercial break. We'll be back 5, 4, our own video. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're back. How about them shout outs? I want to shout out to Go Chain. Go Chain. Congratulations. Earlier this morning, about 8 o'clock, we did a big spin a wheel, and Go Chain won a big package. I'll talk to you later about the big package, Go Chain. And
you don't want the big package he's talking about.
And everyone else that won, please go back and watch the video, and I'll get all those packages out before Christmas, probably. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe.
Merry New Year.
All right, you got any shout outs?
I just want to shout out the folks that had such nice words to say about the Christine McVie episode of The Record Store, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Meant a lot to me, not only recording it that day when it happened, but hearing such nice words from you guys too. So thank you. Those are my shout outs.
Right on. So get to it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
So at 5, it is social media uproar time. It's time for smut. So we've got Ali versus Braun. We've got Scarlett versus the Granny. We got Kayla Braxton versus Candace Cameron. And MJF versus, again, Conor McGregor. So another greatest hits package here. So we start with Braun Strowman bragging about his horrible match with Omos at Blood Money, the Blood Money pay-per-view. So, and of course, Braun Strowman rips the flippity floppers, and of course, referencing the Young Bucks and the Ricochets of the world, the high flyers. So Braun rips the flippity floppers, and Mustafa Ali, I don't know, they pronounce it differently every time on WWE now. So Mustafa Ali responds, "Can you teach me how to get fired?" Because he's famously been trying to get his release from WWE, and they won't release the guy. So that was all on November 6th. At a house show in Peoria, Illinois on November 12th, an idiot female fan throws a beer at Scarlett Bordeaux during the Drew McIntyre Karrion Kross match. So the fan and her man are booted. They're not charged, but they're booted from the arena. The best part about this, at first when I heard the story, I'm like, big deal. A fan throws a drink. That happens. It's happened many times throughout history. But the best part about it was Scarlett tweeting to her the next day, "I'm not surprised something like that would happen in Peoria. P.S. to the granny that threw the drink, your booze was as cheap as your hairdo." So that was a great response from Scarlett on that one. Finally, Kayla Braxton deletes her Twitter over criticism of
Oh,
actress
God.
Candace Cameron. So yet a second mention of Full House on this episode. Candace Cameron was the daughter on Full House. So she is famously anti-LGBT. She's very pro-religion, very pro-traditional marriage. So Kayla criticized her. Kayla is biracial. Kayla is also bisexual. So she's a couple of bis. Kayla is delightful. I've said that a million times. She's also very good at what she does, I think. But Kayla gets blasted for online. She gets blasted for the cutting down Candace Cameron, and so Kayla finally gets sick of the bullshit on Twitter and walks away. So anyway, finally, MJF continues to live the gimmick. He calls UFC star Paddy Pimblett a dollar store Conor McGregor. So McGregor gets pissed. He responds that he says a dollar store Conor is still worth millions. Don't know who's this other clown. So referencing MJF. So Conor doesn't know who MJF is. So MJF responds on November 23rd, I'll fuck the Conor clone up, then I'll wipe my ass with the original. Stay in your lane, you roided up leprechaun. That's hard to say. So I love that line, roided up leprechaun for Conor. But if you've seen Paddy Pimblett, he actually looks just like Owen Hart. He does not look like Conor McGregor at all. It just happens to be they're both Irish. So man, a busy month of smut this month, sir.
That the one thing that we talked about this with Twitter. It seems like people get their feelings hurt and leave as soon as they say something, and then I may be against you, but I will defend you for your right to say whatever you want to say, whoever you're against. If you can do it without violence, if you do not like gay rights, if you don't like this, that if you're racist, I really am. I'm all about freedom of speech, but I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to listen to you. You know how I change the channel. That's the way I feel about it. But just getting mad and leaving Twitter, I just hate that. Shotzi sowed shit, but she gets her feelings hurt and leaves Twitter. Ali and Braun was hilarious. Braun was so funny with this because he was talking about his match was 5 stars. I want you to go back and watch that match, Lance. It was 4 1/4, not 5. It was 4 1/4. Actually, Austin Lane and I are going to dissect that match on the next Best of the Best, and it will be fun to see what kind of psychology did they apply to that match. And so, I mean, and the other thing is Scarlett was hilarious, I thought, with that. The granny thing and all these, if I was a WWE, I would just get rid of him. He's like always, I'm sorry, it was funny a couple times. But just get rid of him.
Even with Vince gone, they're still shitting on him. It's I don't
get
know
rid
what the
of
grudge is with that guy. He's so talented, I'm just disappointed that Kayla walked away from Twitter because she actually did put out some humorous tweets every now and then. So I'm sad that she's gone.
Just tell the truth. It has nothing to do with her humor.
No, she's cute. She's cute as hell, but she did actually put out some funny stuff once in a while. So I thought that was it's a loss to Twitter. So all right, at number 4,
funny. Kayla's so funny.
At number 4, that sounded like your Hit Row rendition there.
So funny.
So all right, number 4, is that your dog? It's not my dog this time. I heard noise. So all right, at number 4, Stardom gets some new blood. So on November
Good
5th,
God.
At November 5th, Stardom New Blood Show. That's the name of the show, is New Blood.
Oh, so my bad.
The New Blood shows from Stardom feature young up-and-coming female wrestlers. And so they don't feature all their stars like they normally do. So these are like kind of like the Stardom NXT, I guess it would be.
Right.
So,
and they, Memphis Wrestling just did that. They did the Stars of Tomorrow, the Shooting Stars, or the Stars of Tomorrow. Dustin's going to kill me because I can't even remember the name of the show. Go ahead.
Gold chain. All right, so on 11/5, the Stardom show features a porn star and bodybuilder by the name of Chan Yoda. She works a match. Reports are that she was actually good, and she was very charismatic. Go figure, a porn star was charismatic. So sadly, an uptight sponsor found out that this porn star had been used by Stardom, and they will not use her again. So unfortunately, she won't be used. By Stardom, at least, she won't be used. So she's 27. I looked up this girl. She's 27, 5'5". She's a bodybuilder, but she wasn't
you would look her up.
Of course. Show research, man. Come on. So she's a bodybuilder, but she has more of that fit athletic look. She was not like the hard and chiseled bodybuilder kind of look. I would say she's hot. I thought she looked like Io Sky, kind of like that Io Shirai kind of look. She looks like just another girl that would fit in Stardom. She just looked totally like she would fit in Stardom. So I say give Chan a chance. All we are saying is give Chan a chance. So, and as far as I'm aware, she's already better than Maki Ito. So there's that too. So Chan Yoda working for Stardom at number 4, the porn star.
She's my number 1 favorite over there now because I mean she's a porn star too, and I don't think any of them are talented.
She's doing double duty. Double duty.
I can't stand the style of Stardom because they all live together, work together, and they come over here and they don't have good matches. So, not a fan of Stardom. I know I'm going to piss some people off with that, but me and you, Lance, if we live together, I'm glad we don't. But if we did live together, me and you could have a good match.
Stinks.
We could have a good match.
So, all right.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing you think about. We live together. I stink. What the fuck?
You shitting your pants in the house. You can't have that.
Well, it might be. I figured the smell of that gel that you put in your hair is worse than my shit. So
it's aroma free. So all right, at number 3 before we get into it.
Look at that spunk lube. It's squirting. It looks like it's squirting.
Like
all right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, number 3, Little Bow Wow. Little Bow Wow is thirsty for Jade Cargill. So rap star, I'm going to go Dave Meltzer on you here. Rap star Shad Moss, who was relevant in the 90s. He happens to see Jade Cargill on TV, and he tweets, "I just want to take you out somewhere." And she replies on Twitter, she replies publicly, "You can't afford me, thanks, but no thanks." So, meanwhile, it's an open fact that she's married, and not only is she married, but she's married to former Cincinnati Red Brandon Phillips. So this goof Lil Bow Wow apparently doesn't do any research. He keeps hitting on her on Twitter, and she keeps shooting him down. So he keeps shooting his shot, as the kids say, and she keeps shooting him down. So finally, somebody, whether it's Tony Khan or somebody, turns it into an angle, and the baddies show up at his concert on November 20th in Miami, and they throw popcorn at him. So obviously now it's a thing. So security steps in, and wouldn't you know it, TMZ is there to record all of it. So Lil Bow Wow thirsty for Jade Cargill. Now it's turning into an angle on AEW.
Now it's turning into. Do you actually think this was legit? That's why I can't.
No, I do think this horn dog was hitting on her at first. I do think
I
that.
can't see how this ended. I'll let you write WTF, and I don't ever say, "Why'd you put that on her?" I quit doing that. This is not a WTF moment. I want everyone to tell Lance. I want you to vote against this. It's an angle. It's a wrestling angle. He only put it on here because of Jade.
I think it turned into an angle. I think it was this horn dog rap dude thinking he could get anybody that he set his mind to because he's a star. I think he thought he was going to be able to get Jade. Had no idea that she was married. So, and then they're turning it into an angle, obviously. So, but I don't think it started as an angle. I think it was just this horn dog dude trying to hit on this girl. That's all it was. Should we move on to number 2?
Yeah, please. I'm not even going to comment about it. It's an angle. It's not.
All right.
WTF.
At number 2 is Dangerous Breed.
What the fuck was you thinking? It's what my WTF part of it.
Teddy Hart at number 2. We're not gonna end the episode on the Teddy Hart story, so we had to make it number 2. So Peacock debuts the 3-part series on November 22nd. Totally addictive. I had to watch all 3. I started watching the first one. I watched all 3 in a row. But anyway, so it was totally addictive. So we've been covering Teddy Hart for years.
I meant to go back and look. But
we have broken the stories.
He's been part of WTF. He's been part of our. And I thought that's one of the reasons I sent you the email and I said we got to talk about this because he's WTF. He's been part of it.
Is WTF through and through. So this documentary detailed the white trash lifestyle that he leads, all the drugs, the cat obsession, the weird cat obsession.
How do you call him white trash? How do you call him white trash?
Abusiveness towards women, and eventually this thing ends up focusing on the disappearance of Samantha Fiddler. And again, this is the story we talked about 2 years ago between Teddy Hart and Chasen Rance. So the filmmaker that was doing this, Frederick Croce is the guy's name. He started filming him basically 24/7 10 years ago. He started filming Teddy Hart 24/7 for a reality show. And boy, did this guy get more than he bargained for. So I've said this already. I've gone on record. This guy needs to get protection, like security or something, because the things that he put together on this that aired, man, Teddy Hart is going to lose his fucking mind and go after this guy, it seems like. So Teddy denies any wrongdoing. He seems completely oblivious to what this makes him look like, you know. Meanwhile, the last thing, and you sent me this one, this indie group called FYW, Find Yourself Wrestling, is running a show in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. They put Teddy Hart front and center on the poster.
Hey,
the show is on
I double checked that. Yeah, he was
January
on the poster.
14th. Yeah,
he's not anymore.
Oh, okay.
He's not on the poster anymore.
The poster had him front and center and said right above him, Teddy Hart as seen on Peacock.
Right.
I'm like, that's like saying Charles Manson as seen on CNN, you know?
So. I've talked to a few of the guys in the business that have been around Teddy, and they said, which, you're following somebody around with a camera, but they said that is him. He's just so ego. He's the best of this. He's the thing about it is, and we talked about this when we talk about Teddy, is that we really wanted him to succeed because he's so good. And he had, at one point, had one of the, he was a future superstar written all over him. The point that gets me on this is when they stop filming and he walks, well, they're still filming, but he walks away and he's talking to the guy that did the documentary, and he says they will not find her. Mm-hmm. Is what he says. He goes, the guy says, will they find her? And he goes, they will not find her. So me, I'm a huge murder show. And when they say stuff like that, guess what? You know why they won't find her? Because her body doesn't even exist anymore.
Right. You disposed of her well enough that nobody's going to find her. That's basically what you're saying. Yeah, I caught that line too. You're right.
Yeah, and just a piece of trash. And that whole... How does people even train there with that guy? He's had charges against him. What's his name? Jason Rance, who's been on here. A couple of times. I just don't. I'm with you, and I know Ed said the same thing, that it was one of those things where you just sat down and you just kept watching, because I was going to watch an episode of it and then some wrestling, and I just kept going because it had everything. Yeah. It had wrestling, and it was a murder show all together. I mean, it was two of my favorite things. And Teddy Hart's
alleged murder show.
Here's what I thought was so funny, and I don't know why I laughed at this, and it has nothing to do with, but I know two things that you hate. So I was thinking, now, Lance, if Lance ever, when he dies, and, he will be going to hell, y'all. No, if there's what is your hell? What is your hell
the Acclaimed and Maki
No, here you go. This is even worse. If I had anything to do with it, I would put you in Teddy Hart's house with all those cats and that marijuana. That's what I would do.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I started laughing. And I said, why am I laughing?
It's my nightmare.
Lance would walk in and go, "What the fuck?" and just run out. I was dying laughing. So,
but it's like
that's your hell, man. That's your hell.
There's two really sad things about all of this. Is that Samantha Fiddler girl was gorgeous, just beautiful girl.
Beautiful girl.
She had a future in either in the business or whatever, anything. She had a couple kids too, and then also, like you said, you kind of referenced Teddy Hart. For such a fucking talented guy, get your fucking head on straight and get your act together,
What gets me too is he can do this. He probably has a girlfriend now.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah,
what?
He had that,
guys
Maria,
that do that.
What was her name? The Maria Manic. Yeah, Maria Manic. That was one of the other stories we covered.
They're not together anymore, so there's an update on her. Yeah, she's out of the business completely, lives with her parents, apparently. But that was another one. But he just keeps getting them. So guys like that, that's what they do. And I've never understood it. So, they're Teddy Hart. He's one of, he won't get he never won Fuckinator. He never won the Fuckinator, but
no. So, but let's hope. Honestly, we'll leave it on the note of let's hope he gets his shit together and straightens out his life. Because there's been so much tragedy and so much just dirt business around that guy. So, all right. So we couldn't end the WTF with that story. So number one, we've got Kane versus the drag queens, the Snakes, Paul White, and the golf cart. So it was a big month for Mayor Kane. So Glenn Jacobs, mayor of Knox County, tweets on November 1st that he will not tolerate, I will not tolerate all drag shows under my watch. He tweets that. And of course, the LGBT community gets up in arms about that one. Later, as soon as this dies down, another controversy revolving around Glenn Jacobs. He's accused by one Paul White, not to be confused with Paul White, but Paul White is the former Parks and Rec director. By the way, I hated Parks and Rec. I know you're going to have a comment there.
Loved that show.
Hated
Loved
that show.
it.
I figured that was coming. So
Never was.
Paul White, the former director of the Parks and Rec of Knox County, he accuses Glenn Jacobs of pressuring White to lie and to investigators that county employees went to Jacobs' house to remove a snake that was bothering his wife, Crystal, on work time. So that is the big controversy, that the city employees went to the house of the mayor to remove the snake. And that his chief of staff used a county-owned golf cart for personal use. So
how dare him?
How dare they use a golf cart, in Knox County? So Knox News, I love that expression, Knox News. So do
Knox
they both
News
start with a K?
Kane.
Knox Canoes, is that how it's spelled? But anyway, so Knox News learns that the lawsuit is not the Big Show, by the way, not the Big Show, just happens to be named Paul White. So the lawsuit was settled out of court for $150,000. So they wouldn't talk about anything after that. So White says he was fired for blowing the whistle. Kane says it was because he created a hostile work environment. So all I could think of with that hostile work environment is that somebody lost their smile. That has to be what happened.
That is.
Somebody lost their smile.
What I think's so funny about your story is that we cannot call him Glenn Jacobs. We will never do it. We always say Kane. And then I see Kane talking to people about snakes and going to court. Kane going to court, not Glenn Jacobs. No. So awesome story that we pulled at the very last.
Minute. Yeah, it was a great find on your part.
The thing with anti-drag was I was reading through the Observer and scanning to see if we had any other stories, and I saw Glenn Jacobs' name, and I said, "Oh, we already got that story." And then when I went back to read it, I was like, "Wait. This says something about a snake and
a
golf cart." I was like,
how dare they? How dare they use that golf cart? So,
and I tell you what, I have my middle child does drag, but we don't have all ages show. I don't understand that. That's one of the things I didn't. What kind of all ages show do you have with that? And I think when they do all ages shows, it was, even though it says all ages, it always meant that this was with me when they would do concerts and stuff. You could go if you were 16, I think. Mm-hmm. You could go, you couldn't drink, and you got a stamp on your hand, and then you could go to the show, but you couldn't do anything, and you had to be 21 if you drank. I think the laws have changed now where there can't be alcohol on the premises if you have an all ages show. But I think, really seriously, I think you have to be even 16 to go to an all ages show. So, I don't know.
Drag shows just seem like burlesque shows to me.
That's all they are. Yes, that's it. There's
show. I don't know that kids care about that shit.
And are kids going? Yeah, Mama, please take me to the drag show.
Please take me to that drag show. Or the burlesque show. They don't know what it is. They don't care. I don't know. It's weird to me, but
the one that my child does is more. There's more comedy to it than there is. There's no sexualization. It's a comedy kind of thing. So I don't know. I thought that was really weird. All right, you got anything to add to the Kane story there?
Just that we also need to mention again that Kane's wife is named Crystal, and she apparently doesn't like snakes. So let's get that.
Well, okay, and he hates Paul White, the Big Show. So there you go.
All
right, guys.
The medium show, the average show.
We do honorable mentions after this. And remember, next month, same bad time, same bad channel. Almost forgot my catchphrase. On the best little wrestling podcast in the business. Be there. And as everyone knows, I love my mama.
And I am going to give a shout out to Mama. I forgot to do it in the middle of the show. Shout out to Mama. So thank you very much for the nice words about that episode. And I have fun everywhere I go. Don't forget that.
Huge Fleetwood Mac fan. She's the one that got me